safe to say Chelsea under Todd Bowley have not reached the heights they did under Abramovich, winning UCL titles, and the problem is not down to money. 146 million spent immediately after the season, which did end in a trophy, but not the trophy they're probably hoping for. Enzo Maresca goes into next season with that absolutely huge squad and expectation to perform in the highest competition, the Champions League. As today, we're going to be going into next season, transforming Chelsea in 2025-26 to see if we can complete every trophy. As yes, people, welcome back. Here we have our second installment of Premier League teams in the 2025-26 season. All these permanent players still remain. We've got Cole Palmer, Madueke, Pedro Neto's had to go onto the left-hand side because of changes. Because Sanchez is back at Manchester United, we've made all them permanent transfers out of the club like him. Bettinelli to City and Humphries to Burnley. And we're not re-signing Jadon Sancho because Chelsea have said they don't want to do that. And I don't blame them, because in FC26, they've potentially got a 46-man squad. Because that is what we've got here. We've got the new kits loaded in, and they've just spent noticeably the most amount of money on this man, Liam Delap. A rumoured fee of 30 million for this man from Ipswich Town. And new players for next season in Giovanni Quenda, Kendry Paez, two 18-year-old transfers straight away. We've then got Dario Esugo, who looks brilliant, didn't have the best time at Las Palmas, who he was actually loaned out to. Then Mamadou Sarr, the centre-back from Strasbourg, who are an exceptional team. And the first rule about doing this rebuild is we've got to keep the same formation, Enzo Maresca's shape, and then we have to win every trophy. There is 7 on offer, including the Ballon d'Or for a player, so we're probably going to need someone better than Nicholas Jackson, and maybe Liam Delap, because his rating's not the best at the moment. Plus we've got the loan players back, João Felix, Chukwuemeka, Oga Chukwu. Santos is another one from Strasbourg, really good loan and became their captain. Then we've got Kepa Arrizabalaga, really good at AFC Bournemouth. However, we've still got to make moves in this window, and this is going to be really difficult. We're probably going to have to get players out, and the first player I looked at was Sanchez. He does seem to have stinkers, but clean sheet wise Chelsea were 3rd in the 2024-25 season, which honestly shocked me. And what shocked me at first is the budget. We started with 222 million, but like in real life I have took off 146 million to make 76. As look at the transfer list I've just made, it's got loan deals on it as well, but this is huge and could take a while for us to get through, so strap your seatbelt on. I also do want to make more signings after the 146 million that's already been spent. Got my eyes on some more players, as Alfie Gilchrist goes to Werder Bremen. Raheem Sterling was obviously leaving, 12.2 million, that is peanuts for him. Then again, his latest loan deal at Arsenal really didn't cover himself in glory with it. As hopefully Gui can, he's going on loan at Leicester City. I think that's good. That is Jamie Vardy's replacement, as we don't need to replace this man here. Kepa Arrizabalaga goes permanently to Bournemouth in a good deal. Then we've got Petrovic, another goalkeeper, out. That was the key thing, getting rid of all our goalies, as the rest of the players are loanees out. Ogachukwu, Renato Vega, and shortly after, players like Mike Penders, a youngster at 19 years old, and maybe the most controversial of all, Romeo Lavia to Borussia Mönchengladbach. That was done because we can't loan out Esugo, the Portuguese man who's literally joined the club. Because he's just a new transfer, FC25 won't let me loan him out. And in fact, with Enzo not being a DM, he could actually fit into our squad. Next to the captain, Moises Caicedo, the player who has played every single Premier League moment, every single Premier League game, 38 games, he's an absolute workhorse. But we've got to make that work, £132 million. And now we go to two players that Chelsea have been very closely linked with today, and I think would be a perfect fit, because a left midfielder is what is needed firstly. Jamie Gittens, or Bynon Gittens as he usually was called, and then we've got Malik Fofana, who's 2 ratings lower, same age. I think we'd be stupid not to go for Jamie Gittens. 92 pace, 85 dribbling. Could this man be the missing piece going into 2026 for Chelsea? As there he is now, making up a mostly English attack for for. So we've got Palmer, Madueke, and Gittins now on the left, 83 overall. And he's actually been playing unlike Madueke. It's just a matter of time before we do get Liam Delap in there. I think I'm going to prefer him to Jackson. However, for the right-hand side, it actually seems to have played Kenda over the likes of Pedro Neto and Madueke, so he's going in our team, which has the highest rated Cole Palmer, a 90 in our first season's brilliant Caicedo, the captain, who I honestly think suits that armband. He's there. We've got João Felix going up one because I didn't want to sell him. I know Chelsea aren't looking to utilise him, but he's actually a fairly new player. As loanees out the club, we've got Lavia now to an 80 rated, Chukwuemeka the same. He's over at Napoli. And then Pender's 78. He's quickly catching up to Sanchez, with our top scorer being Palmer over Jackson, who's still got 23. Then Gittins was actually third. Pedro Neto, despite not all the game time, he's actually done well for himself as well. Okay, now after a top 4 finish last season, 7th in the Premier League. That's Conference League again, isn't it? Yep, so unless we've won the Champions League, I think we're going to be in the 3rd tier of the Continental Tournaments. And we don't even win the FA Cup. That's won by Aston Villa. Then the Carabao Manchester City, so domestically we don't get a thing. And then in the Champions League, it's not looking good, bruv. Actually, it's not looking at all. We have not been placed in the Champions League. That's a weird one because we've actually qualified. Looks like the game wanted to stick Chelsea in the Europa League for winning the conference. Very nicely done by EA. And I actually don't believe it again. FC20 4-3 means Chelsea are out in the round of 16, and the first season will be trophyless despite spending almost 200 million. This is going to be in the Conference League once more. Enzo would probably be sacked, and the only way to help us recover from this is you guys subscribing and leaving a like on the video. As season 2 spins around, we've still got 42 players at the club, but at least we've only got 3 goalkeepers, and that is crucial because I'm going to make a change here. Robert Sanchez, 6'6", but now he's 28, only 78 rated. Penders is now the best, but I still believe he should be loaned out. He looks really similar to Courtois. If we could try and make him the next one, that would be absolutely glorious. And then the defense definitely needs prioritizing. Trevor Chalobah, I'm sorry, I just don't believe he's actually Champions League quality. And same with Wesley Fofana. His bones are probably made of glass. I don't see him play much for Chelsea, and this season we don't have to sell to buy. We've got £200 million given to us, but I do want to make some changes to the team, as I just feel it's a waste having this guy on the bench. Liam Delap, a 23-year-old. Jackson, 2 years older. Yes, he did score the 3rd most goals. Or was it 2nd behind Cole Palmer? I don't know, but I just don't fancy him getting us into the Champions League, winning the FA Cup. And then I didn't even have to look at this. We've got to win the Conference League. That is basics. Although, do we actually want to win it? Because FC25 might put us in the Europa League from winning it. Champions League football and maybe a domestic trophy would probably be my thing this season, as only one player makes the cut after his loan deal in the main squad, and that's going to be Romeo Lavia. So it's good to see a 22-year-old in there, meaning we have to go for that centre-back and goalkeeper. I do not trust Robert Sanchez that much. He's going to be a backup keeper. I think having the first choice from the season before as a backup is better than keeping the backup. So out goes Philip Jurgensen to Freiburg, 20 million. And also out goes Nicholas Jackson because we have 2 youngsters in them positions. Liam Delap as the striker, and then Mike Penders, who probably will get a loan deal to Leeds United. And now we can bring a veteran keeper in for this season because there is one heavily linked with a move to Chelsea. And that is Mike Mignon, who I've tried to learn to say correctly. Hopefully I've got it right, but by judging his stats, I've definitely got it correct, as this man going into our goal should be more than capable of getting Chelsea in the Champions League. Yes, only one signing in one window for Chelsea seems mental, but I promise there is method to the madness. As speaking of madness, Tottenham with 12 draws win the Premier League. We are back in the UCL. on goals scored, I believe. Manchester United will be fuming and they will lose out on more money. And more money in this because we go and beat them in the FA Cup final. 2-0, get in there, taking the reins from Aston Villa, and that is our first trophy of 7 completed, which is very nice. However, I would like some more. And guess what? To make up for 0 trophies in season number 1, we get 2 here with the Carabao Cup. And next year we're in the Community Shield. Unfortunately can't enter the Super Cup due to being in the UEFA Conference League, 4th spot behind a few other teams, which is not what I expected, but we go ahead and beat Trabzonspor. We go and hammer Shakhtar Donetsk 4-0. Mudryk at home watching as he's banned for this club right here, as Atalanta do beat us in the semi-finals. However, that trophy less important, and this team still a bit all over the place. Of course, I spoke on centre-back, but I just didn't want one right then. I wanted to focus on making our attack better with Palmer, Delap. We've got Quenda going up a little bit. Moses Caicedo almost 90 overall. In the reserves, Fernandez has played. We've got Sarr, we've got Paez. Now, I didn't do too much loaning because I wanted to give our team a lot of players. Because having a lot of decent players in one position, for example Cam, means we could spread out the game time in cup competitions like the FA Cup, which we did go win, and Cole Palmer is the best player. Then second is the goalkeeper we saved our money to sign. But we cannot be forgetting about that Ballon d'Or we're chasing. And could the future winner of that be Cole Palmer, grabbing 33 goals? 47 goal contributions in that season, and last season I believe he got 50, but in only 48 games. I believe he's the first player, or maybe the first player at Chelsea to score 4 goals in a half against Chelsea earlier on in the season, but a striker we need to grow. Ballon d'Or's always won by attackers, and Delap I would love to see win it. However, only 82 rated. We've got Gui here, who's a little bit younger. Broha I'd probably sell. I probably do want to sell one of these wingers. And then Kendry Paez. Probably regret not loaning him out a bit more. The Ecuadorian, I believe, has a huge future ahead of him. And same with Mamadou Sarr. He could potentially go in our defense next season. Them two for the loan list, as Enzo did get a bit of game time last season. I still need to train him as a CDM, so hopefully he improves further. With Santos also training there, because I'm going to try change Lavia. I do want to sign a centre-back, but if we could try and make this guy one also. Or maybe even Dario Asugo could be there. He's only 22-year-old. He's never going to play in our midfield. And this year it is 37 players. However, the significance of this year is the players out of contract. I'm only going to sign up a select few. Players like Chalobah I might release. Tosin Adebayo, 29. And you can scream at me in the comments for not getting money for these kind of players. And it would be a bad idea in real life to let them players go out on frees, but here in FC25, we've got no budget problems. 406 million. So we can get rid of players, and we can get rid of them on frees. Now, really harsh on Carney Chukwuemeka, and I know that might anger a few. Spent last season out on loan at Dortmund, and I've used him in career mode beforehand. Plus, I'm desperate for this guy to be our cam upcoming, Kendry Paez. As for this season, Asugo is going to stay at that centre-back role, but I definitely do want to sign a new body there, and I could think another striker. Now we're in the Champions League. Could we potentially try and strengthen on Delap? With Victor Osimhen, who's older, but a part of me just doesn't like it. He's got pace, shooting, dribbling, and physical. He's affordable, but yeah, Liam Delap's just a favourite for me. We've got our English triangle, and I do want to keep some English players in the English team. So defence is what I'm going to work with, and this man, if we can change him to a centre-back, Yorel Hato, 21-year-old, is gone to join Erik ten Hag in this save. However, I'm going to snap him up, and I have had to pay his release clause for him. Now this man's going to take over Asugo at centre-back, or maybe even Colwill, because I know Levi Colwill's a left-footer also. And also, there's a player that Erik ten Hag wants to sign at Leverkusen. It was loosely rumoured with Chelsea, and because this is a FIFA experiment, or FC25 experiment, Alejandro Garnacho. Now, I really wanted to sign this guy, but it looks like Manchester United don't want to sell him to us. Oh, well, they can go and keep him anyway because he's not in the team of the season above Cole Palmer and Delap. The partnership I said may work. Looks to have worked so far, and then the Premier League player of the tournament is actually Cole Palmer himself. We definitely didn't need Garnacho in cam now. After looking how Cole Palmer's done, and wow, look at that rating. Oh my days, Uriel Hato. Now, I did change the positions of the players around. He's now an 87 rated. Asugo's not really played. It's put another left footer in the defense, so 2 left footers. I kind of can deal with that. Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but we've got a lot of players out on loan as well, including Mamadou Sarr. He's a right footer. He's 83 overall. And the same as Kendry Paez. He's back next season from his loan at Wolfsburg. The number 1 promising player for me is Cole Palmer, obviously the best player at the club. And this season, it is 56 goals out of 64 games. He could win the Ballon d'Or if he just gets lucky. Or if he's lifting trophies. Can Cole Palmer carry us to some titles? Well, in the Premier League, we may have a shot here. 91 points means we win the title. Salah is rumoured to be in the Ballon d'Or race, despite not doing well in Europe and being the top scorer in the Prem like Palmer is. As that's now 3 trophies out of 7, and I'm feeling a hell lot more positive. But that positive is drastically sucked from my veins here. The Community Shield were in next season, but hammered 3-0 by the rivals, who then go on to win the FA Cup, so we don't even go back-to-back with the trophy. And same with the Carabao. Luton Town win it as we reach the final. League 1 Luton Town. That's absolutely shambolic. I know we didn't need to win them trophies, as don't tell me it's done the same thing again. I do not see us in the Champions League. We should have actually been in that competition. After finishing 4th, but we do finish top of the Europa League phase, beating Stuttgart 6-2. I'm going to flick through these very quickly because we should be going all the way. We beat Leipzig, we beat Valencia, and then in the final, yet again, we beat Manchester United 2-0. Very happy with that, but do you know what makes me even happier? We are in the Champions League, and FC25 has actually put us in there with the expectation to go and win it. We've got the Community Shield and the Super Cup this season, as the budget has gone down 170 million. That's a bit of a shock after releasing a lot of players, and now I actually don't feel like we need a striker. Delap is fine up front. We've got Quenda, we've got Bayern owned Gittins. I've only signed 3 players in this career mode, but because of Quenda and Isugo, it feels like more. Hato and Maigan are definitely in this team long term. With a bench now looking like this, we can make a few more shuffles around because we have Paez I need to put in. Look at him. He's only 21 years of age. Mamadou Sarr can also go on there. I'm going to try and make Vega maybe a backup fullback. Penders is now on the bench. 22-year-old, but it's going to be hard to replace the keeper. We currently have as now strikers where we actually have a bit of difficulty, although Broha is leaving and Mark Gui, I did not see him in the reserves. The La Masia graduate playing for Spain, 22-year-old now. He goes on to this Chelsea bench, which honestly is as good as a Premier League team. As honestly, what stops this team winning the Champions League and Premier League once more? We've got Cucurella, Caicedo, Gittins. I just can't believe his growth so quickly. However, this is what could actually stop us. The contracts this season. I'm going to do the same again, releasing players like Dizazi that I am not going to use at all. And that takes £18 million out of the budget. And now we need to keep signing players. And with the Ballon d'Or being an objective, I think it's most certainly attackers we need to get in. We need to try and make sure we win it. And one loose option linked with Chelsea was this man, João Pedro, but he's gone to the rivals in Tottenham Hotspur. And with Manchester United refusing to sell us Alejandro Garnacho, I think we've got to go back into this man, Malik Fofana, who we looked at in Season 1. And sure, because we didn't sign him, his growth was stunted a little bit. Now he's back up to Byron Gittins. Never mind challenging for a first team spot. He goes onto our bench straight away. Sorry to Nona Madueke, the Englishman, that I've knocked down the ranks a little bit. And I did just speak well on Mark Gui. But how could I ignore a player that Chelsea were heavily linked with just a few days ago? And that is Nick Walter made. He's 26-year-old, but 6'6". I can see why Chelsea want this man as an option, and he's going to be my second option. And he is straight onto the bench now for this first game. I haven't signed a centre-back, but it is the replay of last year's Community Shield, and we beat Spurs, making it 4 trophies now out of 7. We're over halfway. With the Super Cup now to follow, and this is going to be against Liverpool. A 1-0 defeat, though, so we're going to have to wait on that trophy. And one trophy that could make me feel a lot better, because we've just lost out on that one, would have been the Ballon d'Or for Cole Palmer, but it goes to Vinny Jr. Seriously, though, how can you not give it to a 97 rated Englishman who has just won the Premier League in his prime? I do not understand it. As for the rest of the team, they've all got shouts, but obviously FC25 does not like to give it to non-attackers, as there's Delap as well. Also Gittins, 91 overall, same as Delap. They've both gone up, but they're not even in the top 3 players here. Palmer, Caicedo, and Marc Cucurella. That song still gives me shivers. And look how we've done that. 108 goals is the first thing I saw on that Premier League list, which is something we've already won. Obviously, you did see the Community Shield and the Super Cup. As the FA Cup, we don't hold on to that one. However, we do win the Carabao Cup again. So that's a domestic double. And now we're actually in the Champions League. We go ahead and win the league phase of that as well. Or should I say 3 teams were joint with it, as we hammer Milan 6-2. Hammer Dortmund 4-0. We like scoring goals from the UCL and Prem standpoint. Then we hammered Barcelona 5-1, and I can't believe I just saw it, but I did. And now I've zoomed in on it. Manchester United versus Chelsea is always happening, and we are always beating them. That is the biggest trophy of all. The Champions League means only 2 trophies yet to win. The Super Cup, which we're in again, and the Ballon d'Or, which hopefully we are favourites for, because we scored a lot of goals. Palmer got 55. Delap got 48. Sensational, as here we go. We're walking out the man we are getting rid of. Fofana, because of the contract thing we are doing at the club, I do not want him. We can release players, get a budget, and still have a sensational squad. Just look at what we've done here with Chelsea. We probably could do with another centre-back, because Colwell's not grown. However, we go to the bench. We've got Sarr, we've got Vega, and this man's 85, Asugo, only 24. What Todd Bowley's built here is phenomenal. I've got to give him his props. And maybe something like this can happen to Chelsea in a few seasons' time. In real life, there's progression going on. I don't feel like Chelsea's permanently in the gutter. And for the first time in one of these saves, I'm actually stumped. I've only seen a handful of rumours. And we've signed most of them, like the goalkeeper, Hato, and we looked at Garnacho, who we still can't go ahead and sign because he's a United player and they've been our rivals today. And João Pedro we already looked at, and then I've scoured the rest of the players that could be potential options. Branthwaite, again, we've already signed a better left footer. Plus he's at Manchester United, so off the list he goes. Morgan Rogers, obviously good friends with Palmer, and Delap from the Man City Academy. However, he would take time away from Cole Palmer himself and Kendry Paez, and that leaves us with Ekitike, who's literally linked with every single goddamn club. Then again, I think we should have a Ballon d'Or this season. Fingers crossed. We did win a treble. And I'm going all out to win this Super Cup as well. We've got the budget. I only want 1 player. So in comes Ekitike, and I'm very glad to have him on board. Seems the player most teams are after, so it's another option because Walter May didn't work out. And he's going to come onto the bench as I'm going to try something very different. Now, we really do have a strong bench, and we only need 1 trophy. There's no game you play for the Ballon d'Or. That's completely down to chance. However, the Super Cup isn't, and our opponents are Arsenal. This game just has to be played. It's the first time in a while on this channel I'm actually playing a game that isn't the UCL finale. Different graphics. I like it. But do you know what I'd like even more? A win here in the new kits, of course, as this is out wide into Bino and Gittins, another player I'm looking forward to using. Delap trying to run in behind, but we'll give it to a 97 rated Palmer. He looks like he's took the armband as well as Quena, another good player, crossing towards Delap. Palmer, where are you on the edge, mate? I wanted you there, as now Gittins chases the ball back down, and Cole Palmer got a lot of goals last season, and shooting like that is why. Very close to the opener, as now going to do a short corner. Palmer to try and get an assist. I think he got 24 of those as well, as the ball into Yoriel Hato, the centre-back, trying to get past Saliba. Fast start, but now 10 minutes has gone by with nothing. And here goes Giovanni, our Portuguese are on the wing, winning another corner, as now Palmer. Look at the back post. That is not the back post. That's Marc Cucurella. A little overhit, but it still finds its way into Sugo over the top, looking for Enzo Fernandez. The ball gravitating back towards us. Palmer gets past one, and he stops this time by the other centre-back, who was just not letting us through. And the first half's kind of passed us by. We really needed a goal whilst we were doing well as Gittins. He could have tried to go for the gap, but William Saliba's having him in his pocket. We have got to try and beat that man, as Thiago Tomas, he's through on goal, having the biggest chance for Arsenal, and I do not like that one bit. Enzo Fernandez, who's now a fully fledged DM, with a good ball into Delap, who's got away from William Saliba, and Delap doesn't miss that chance. Big goal from our number 13. He must have changed from the Chelsea number 9. I will change that back, but it's a little bit late. I know he's the number 9, and that is a number 9 finish without being cursed. Brilliant goal. Just when we needed it, because that first half was mostly us anyway. Cucurella, come on, let's go forward again. Moses Caicedo with a dribble. We've been allowed the space in the midfield, but the defense is a lot deeper from them. Wasting it, but still, it's a waste of time as well, which we need at the moment. And Palmer, he's been quiet in the second half, runs into his old and new teammate in Delap with a nice chip. Delap goes to hammer, but still, the final whistle should be coming any moment. Palmer with a big shot. Will the ball roll out of play, though? It's kept in by Thiago, and there is the whistle. And pardon me, but the captain was always Caicedo. I don't know why I thought it was Palmer, as that's the final physical trophy we could lift as a team together. And now I am getting nervous, because here we are after that big win. 2029 Ballon d'Or list. Delap, Mbappe, Tavares, and Vinicius Jr. How Cole Palmer's been snubbed after scoring more than Delap? I will never know, as these are the guys he's against. Of course, Kylian Mbappe, Tavares, and then Vinny Jr. Tavares looking like a Vinny Jr. regen, but none of these won the Champions League. I doubt they even won a treble last season. So here's to me hoping we win it, and I believe because we've got the graphic, it is going to be Liam Delap. We go ahead and get that final trophy. Ballon d'Or in the cabinet completes our objectives and aims. I'll be honest, I thought it would be Cole Palmer winning it, but it's one of their new signings for next season. As let me know in the comments below how you think Delap will do at Chelsea next year. And also, whilst you're down there, please do subscribe and click my hands for more videos.